Okay, so this is the normal time, right? When we spend a minute and make sure everybody gets on live. Oh, and I just dropped my phone across the room. Welcome to Moonlit Magic live chat. And we're having technical difficulties all the way around to start today. So what I want to do just to say welcome, but let's not get overthinking this whole technical difficulty rush thing, because that's what we're here to talk about anyway. Today is getting out of our head and kind of dropping into the moment and not letting ourselves get overwhelmed by creating stories, letting our minds run away with us. So when we get rushed and overwhelmed, that's what we do anyway, right? And then we start to put all this pressure on ourselves. We may or may not have a prize wheel today because Nikki, poor Nikki, is having terrible technical difficulties on her screen. She's down here, the little black box. Kat is having some family situations going on, and Megan barely got here 2 minutes before we started because her iPad isn't working. Might just be me and you, or me and whoever is here. So welcome. I am Elise. Like I said, Kat is kind of here, not. I mean, interesting Sunday today,
you guys. I'm still working on trying to actually get on there. I'm moving again.
I mean, this is what I think. This is a really important point, that we're not here to stress more than we would. And when we started this in the summer, it really is. It is kind of a stressful thing, as a stage fright thing. Like, you're getting up in front of people and you want to be perfect and you want to do things the right way. But I promise you, live streams, I've watched some, and people don't even look at the screen half the time. Like, they're a mess half the time. So we just roll with it. And today we're here to talk about the stuff that we can't plan anyway, the connections and experiences that we have, that we can only really appreciate when we're tapped into the present moment, and instead of carried away with our thoughts. So isn't that kind of the perfect way to start this, talking about that in practice in real life? So today we're going to talk about the intuitive choices that we made to bring us here, all of us, kind of from our own perspective, and how we got here today. Nikki's, I mean, kind of, I guess we're all kind of here, right? We're mostly here. And what happens when we choose to kind of play with our harsh thoughts rather than running away with those and then channeling them into creativity, because we give ourselves the space to do that. So again, Kat's here now. Yay. Welcome, Kat. I think you're muted, just so you know. I started you out muted just because I knew you were having some behind the scenes stuff going on. So welcome. And then Nikki, the little black box, that's her.
And then I actually did my hair today too, guys.
I did see you frozen on the screen one time, and it was really cute, straightened. So welcome. I just want to say hi, everybody. This might put a little damper in our oracle cards later, but we'll see. Nikki can at least maybe.
I can read them.
Wow.
This is just an interesting start. I kind of expected this during Mercury retrograde to have this issue, and then today just kind of caught us by surprise, but I feel like that's what we're doing. Anything that you guys want to say? Welcome. We finally all are kind of here. Hi.
Yeah, today's been a mess.
I feel like, well, that's kind of what, okay, welcome. We're here for the Leo full moon, and this is like what the situation is anyway. And when I really looked into this, it's kind of about throwing all your cards up in the air and letting them land where they may. So I think it's really kind of interesting to talk about this anyway, because this is real life stuff, and we're not just being like metaphysical. We're not just talking about nonsense. We're talking about real life stressors and how to deal with those in softer ways.
Yes.
Megan knows very well about real life stressors.
Oh, yes,
and
I
being
do.
hard on herself. I think we all do, but Megan, I've talked to recently, and we talk about like the words, very specifically, like the words that we use to describe our situations. Like Kat came in and said, it's a mess, because it is. It sometimes there's no other way to describe it. But when we get caught in the energy of the mess, the chaos, I'm stuck, I'm, sad, bored, anxious, and we go down that road, where does it take us? if we give ourselves a little space, maybe we can like create something with it that's not so harsh. Okay, so anybody, like you said, anybody want to say anything? Because you guys know that I'll just like talk this whole time. It wasn't really worried about it if you guys didn't show up, because I just talk the whole time anyway. Just me.
I do want to say something. So I think, so we were basically crossing the energies of the traits, I would say, of Aquarius and Leo. And Aquarius is more, you know, like being stuck in your head. Leo, we think about, there's different things, but creativity. And no matter what, like some people will say they're not creative, but as humans, we are. Naturally, anyone is creative. So you kind of have that Aquarius thing going on where you make it stuck in your head, but then you have to think like Leo is fire, right? You can create or destroy. So are you going to create this terrible anxiety of what's going on in your head, or are you going to feel it and then create something more satisfying, right?
Right, because when we talked about this last month, this is this year things are a little different. We started last month, if you were here with Kat, and Kat was with us last time, and she's got her giveaway. Again, we may not be able to do the prize wheel because Nikki's having difficulties, but we will still announce the winner in the group, and we'll make sure.
We could even do it live in the group later if we had to.
Yeah, we'll work something out. We're not going to stress about this. So last month we were here with this energy, right? And it was like anchoring this into what our foundation was and nourishing our foundation. And we came off of this energy and we spoke about what's coming up next month. And what we do is really just lean into and play with each energy that we're being presented. When the Aquarius season, when Aquarius season started, I really felt for this moon right here, the call to detach from everything and give myself some space. I think that's what a new moon is, right, Nikki? Like you're kind of supposed to, it's quiet and like planting seeds and just kind of letting things be.
Right.
And then this is an air energy, like Nikki mentioned. Aquarius is air, so mind and air are related. And that's why we're talking about the mind. When we get carried away, think of the energy of air, how quickly it moves. It will go in 1,000 different directions before you even realize that you're not in the moment anymore. And that's why with this energy, we chose to like kind of slow down. Was anyone else like feeling that this month, or is that just like me?
No, I
had to do it very intentionally though. Like at first I was, I had themes for this month, and it was guilt, truth, and judgment. And I was at first getting carried away with the stories in my mind, and that's what I was creating instead of creating something productive.
Was there anything, so like what it felt like for me was anything that felt really heightened, I needed to give it space. That's what it felt like. So with the fire and the air together, it doesn't mean that jumping into things and taking action and these passionate things are wrong, but how much room do we give ourselves to really process what the outcomes of those things are? And when we sink into our body and come out of our mind in this swirling energy, we give ourselves a little bit of time to not jump into the next thing, because we're always we're trying to clear a lot of this stuff away, right? Like the heavy stuff. But if we go ahead and fill that back in with something else that's just as heavy, another thing that we maybe isn't true to us completely, then it's going to be the same outcome again. That's why we want to give ourselves space. That's the point of slowing down and giving ourselves space between maybe what we think we want and the way that plays out, not forcing and controlling it. Does anybody want to like jump in and talk about how, okay, let me just say, do you want to come in and talk about how you've taken this I keep pressing, pointing at the wrong one, taking this overthinking energy and choosing purposefully to channel it into something passionate? Kat, do you want to start or share something that you've done?
That's kind of how I handle art in general. Is a lot of overthinking. So I wind up even at the very beginning where I have a general idea and I start looking at reference images, I get a mass of images and kind of play around with them for a little while before I'm ruling stuff out, like, okay, well, that's not quite what I wanted, but I just like this one little part and things like that. So I'll go ahead and do a pretty massive edit before I get to start working on a drawing or a painting.
It's an interesting process. Right? Because everyone draws their inspiration differently, and that's just a really interesting process to have. What about you, Megan?
I would say, honestly, for me, a lot of it was I didn't know. It was subconscious, where I was feeling really overwhelmed by things and really stressed by like everything going on in my life. And I could feel myself kind of like pulling back. And is kind of like a way to like, I don't want to say get around that, but I found myself working on like smaller projects when I did allow myself like to pull back from what was going on around me. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it does. I think it's a natural.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's like a really subtle difference between realizing like we're avoiding something or giving ourselves space. And I think the difference with a lot of these things is how we feel.
Yeah. And I think for a long time, more of it for me was avoidance than like consciously realizing that that's what I was doing, where now I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more aware that this is going on and I'm going to pull back in some way. But that's still something that I kind of struggle with too, finding that balance between, you know, is this how I should be handling the situation, or is this going to be like a little bit more negative for me? So I'm still trying to find the balance with that.
But don't you think that's what we're all doing all the time? Like that's what life literally, like from start to finish, life is playing with experience. So like you notice that's what we're doing. It's a really good point, because that's what we're doing here, is just one choice at a time, realizing how powerful our choices are. Mm-hmm. Like whether it's choosing to let our thoughts go, but even when we do, choosing not to feel guilty about it, choosing not to feel guilty when something negative plays out, or blaming ourselves for it. You know, like framing the things in a growth perspective, or like a way that we can process and release, rather than one more weight, and one more weight. And it's such a subtle experience. Nikki, what have you been going through? Some stuff?
Yeah, I feel like I have a ton of examples, but before I go into anything, I just want to say what Megan said actually like strikes something within me, where she said she's trying to find the balance. And like, we're talking a lot about creating. And I think another thing to take into consideration is when you step back to find your awareness, it's not so much about always finding the balance, but creating it and knowing what you need for that balance. So then you can create that, not necessarily that you have to go out and find it.
And what's your balance, right? Like whose frame of balance, or, you know, satisfaction, right, wrong, whatever, like whatever we're focused on and we're building a life from. Right. Do we know where we're building a life from? What beliefs are like those deep down inner child, like, you know, locked away things that was like a misunderstanding at one point in our life. Like someone made us feel bad and we didn't understand that didn't make us bad, right? Like as humans. And we build a whole life based on that, with the understanding of like a 5-year-old, you know, like from a weird spot. And we have all these expectations, things that we want to see happen, and when they don't immediately, you know how kids are almost wired to be manipulative to get what they want? And I mean, don't you know they are? Kids are like they know how to say what they want to get that little candy or to get that little bite, to stay up a little late, right? What the excuses kids use at bedtime, like, I love you.
Oh, so many.
Every day. Every day.
So thirsty. And it's everything that they can do to pull on your emotions, right? But they're not doing it from a place of like evilness. They just are trying to get what they want. They're not monsters. They're kids. And so the way that we actually react to that in real life, but to ourselves, is very important, because that's the same thing. Who are we nurturing? who are we listening and who are we like, you know, who are we tapping into? Do we beat ourselves up and shame that kid that just wants the, you know, the affection? We all have stuff from when we were young, something that was planted in us that made us not follow our truth. And now here we are trying to tap back into ourselves. Is that what we're doing? You guys literally, come on, somebody say something.
I felt like you were going somewhere really good. I wasn't trying to interrupt it.
I know, but sometimes I feel like such an ass because it's just sorry talking. I'm like, it just wasn't like it's not like a seminar where I'm like talking.
No, I mean, it's good that you do talk, because, you know, it's especially good. Like today, my usual space is crowded, so I'm trying to keep the noise to a minimum as far as like
my insecurities.
Yeah.
So Nikki's still having issues. Well, these are my insecurities. So like, here's me like sitting here with you guys because that's how I feel. I feel like, am I overwhelming the conversation? You know, and because that's an insecurity that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess better to like address it than let my mind go places. I'm sure it's Nikki like messaging me right now.
Absolutely.
Like, oh no, it's just Megan. It's Megan. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening either, you guys. Let's do something. Unless you guys have something that you want to add at this point. Do you want to? Or I have a kind of a exercise that I want to do together.
Mm.
Unless you want. Oh no, Megan's gone. Everyone's just gone.
Kat. I know, she just sent a screenshot of like everybody is like,
what?
Everybody's buffering. Like that, she sent a screenshot of everybody's buffering before she disappeared. So she should be back in a moment. So it's like, yay! Today's a train wreck. But
well, you know what? Let's
do
this then. Let's center ourselves because I have a whole thing that I want to talk about. Or like this little exercise that I wanted to do together. What an interesting week. Hold on, I think Nikki needs me to add her again. Nikki, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here again. Am I still frozen? Because my face is there, but it's frozen.
I just see my black screen.
Yep, you've never been anything but a little black box, and I'm very sorry to share that with you. You've only ever been a little black box this entire time.
Okay. So does that mean when you lost me, you also lost Megan?
We don't know what happened.
I think her internet had issues going by the buffering before she just dropped. So
that happened to me too. Everyone turned into a circle, a loading circle.
Hey, this is called self-care Sunday, not like stress out Sunday. So let's just like,
I know, I'm like over here cracking up.
Well, I mean, I get it. Don't believe. Do you guys want to know how I felt when literally 5 minutes before everyone's going, I can't log in? Like, I got to choose how I'm going to react to or respond to this. And thankfully, I've been choosing to center myself a lot. And I've actually prepared myself, I guess, for this the last couple of days because that's what I've been doing. I've been focusing on like the really subtle feelings that I have about whatever's going on that I can't control. It's not within my control. What am I going to do? It's happening one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
What can you, I mean, it is what it is. Were you going to say, Kat?
Oh, I was just letting you know that Megan says she's on her way back. Her Wi-Fi was out for a second.
Am I back?
You're here.
Yeah, okay.
Are you guys all here for a moment? Maybe we can actually all talk about something. Before we lose everybody, let's I wanted to do this little exercise together because of basically everything that's happening. And as we're moving into this, so this is something on top of that energy, the Leo energy and the going wild and kind of giving ourselves space to feel and be creative. I pull lots of cards throughout the month. And then this one came up as well. And I don't know if you can see it because it's like shiny, but I was feeling really called. I was feeling really called to my solar plexus, my gut. That's where I kept being drawn to like center myself. And that's kind of the energy that kept coming up. This is again, fire energy and surrender energy. But this is tapping into our gut feelings, our intuition. And that's what we have to realize, like our power is here all the time. Even when we're worried about stuff, our bodies are responding to those thoughts. And when we can correlate those things together, we can start to soften them a little bit at a time. And I was like, how? Because, we're always kind of stuck in the, how do we do this? How do I get through this or break out of this cycle? And the cards that were coming up for me were, again, Leo is the sun, it's inner child, it's ego, it's fire. And these are what I kept getting kind of pulled to do. Surrender to my gut feelings, surrender to my own, not just surrender to joy, but focus on what feels a little better. And that's probably, I can almost guarantee you, sitting and doing something creative or talking with friends is going to feel better than worrying, stressing, because it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Does anybody want to say anything about that where we do a little exercise? How like you experience that in real life? Or maybe even this week? No,
Well, I mean,
it's like, no, we're fine today. We don't.
No, like for me this week, I worked on a lot of smaller projects, and like here and there when I felt like I had like the inspiration to work on them, which is, during like a normal week for me with work, I get kind of stressed out about things, and then that just completely derails me into this like, I need to pull back. I can't do this. I can't do anything else. When I'm done working, I can't focus. Where this week it was like, okay, I can take this amount of time afterwards and work on these small projects. And I actually did feel a lot better about the week because I gave myself that time to work on something different and not just focus on, everything that was going on around me, which I had been doing for a couple of weeks,
And like 30 some years, right?
Yeah. The whole last 30, 40 years.
Myself, but like I do the same thing where I'm like, oh, I used to do this and now I do this. And I know that I'm doing it and I'm practicing and I'm making progress, but I'm like, okay, I've been doing this. I've been stuck in these things like a lifetime, not just like the last month. So I need to realize a lot of the stuff that's coming up, and whatever level that you're on. I don't mean like there's no like end place. There's no finish line to any of this. It's just kind of how deep are you ready to go with yourself? And it's a lot easier to go deep with yourself from a creative place and let that be kind of the open channel for the intuition to flow through, rather than go, I gotta fix myself. My mental health is bad. This and this, I got to see doctors and they're going to fix me. And all of that is part of it. The real world is part of, taking care of ourselves, finding that balance. But what feels right to us, right? And what doesn't. And it's kind of like, it's just so unique. It's Megan's balance is different than my balance, and Kat's balance is totally different than Nikki's balance. And it's like, we have to be okay that other people don't get it all the time, that they're not in the same rhythm we are all the time, that they don't have the same needs, or they don't make the same choices that we do. They don't make choices that please us all the time. What do we do with that when people do what they want and not what we want? Because we literally have a tantrum in our bodies. And if we're not aware of that, what happens? It comes out and it continues to come out. And we frame ourselves as like this victim in the situation. And not that we're not that sometimes we aren't done wrong, because of course we are. Of course we are. It is not to do with that. It's just like, what's my response? What's my power? What's within my control? How do I respond that makes me proud of myself at the end of the day? Because I want to look in the mirror and say, yep, I acted with my integrity. I followed my intuition. I did not jump into that situation the way I did. Because I can literally look through my whole life and see a pattern, a string now, and see, look what I did at that point in a situation like that. Wow, like look at me now. I can see it. I can feel it. But that doesn't mean it's at the top of my mind when I'm stressed or feeling bad about myself. I have to sit quietly and let that kind of illuminate and say, whoa, look at how much progress I've made.
That was something that I kind of struggled with too. And I think we talked about that last week when you and I were talking. I, in the past, have gotten so caught up on like what I thought other people's expectations were of how I should handle things. And that's kind of been a lot of awareness really within, I don't know, probably the last 6 months to a year where I'm like, okay, I don't need to do everything the way someone else does it. You know, and that took me a really long time to realize and kind of accept that I could do things my own way. And I was going to be so much happier when I figured out that we're all different. That was hard for me.
It is hard. Well, and Nikki, Nikki, I'm sorry. I like kind of keep forgetting you're here, and not to be like rude. But so sorry. I need to like paste your face into like a corner or something, or put. There's not even like a little figure. We used to have.
I'm so sad.
Do you remember we had one of those pictures for you? And at least that would be nice. But
yeah, well, I don't know what's going on because I don't even have like the admin controls on here right now, so I don't know.
I'm sorry.
That's crazy. I wonder if maybe you set a picture of yourself as a desktop background and then share the screen, but then that's probably going to take up a lot more data.
She can't do anything.
Oh no, nothing. Oh, that's crazy.
Nikki, and that's a gift, you guys.
Such a strange day.
It is. And again, it's just like, I think it's a good example of like when there are literally things that happen out of our control at all times. What can we do? We're here hanging out, you know, and we're not here to stress each other out. Why would you want to be here if that was how it felt to be here? I wouldn't want to be here. And it was at the beginning when it was brand new, but it is what it is now. I mean, yes, it's public. Yes, people are going to see it, but I mean, this is who we are, right? Just in real life.
Yeah, I'm getting over all of that. I'm trying.
Nikki, gosh, I can't now. I completely forgot why I addressed you when you were. I was like, you're a little black box, and I forget you're there. It had something to do with what we were talking about, but that's gone now. Do you know what we were talking about?
I'm not entirely sure what you were going for.
Megan was talking about something, and I was talking. That's how this goes. We're just.
But something that I can add in on. I don't know if it has anything to do with what you were thinking, but and I think this is actually. I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know we were going to like introduce ideas for our next season that we're in. But the fact is, we can't plan everything out. Like you can have your favorable outcome and that's what you focus on, but you can't plan every single way, like every single thing that's going to happen on your path to getting to that favorable outcome. And that was definitely thing that I know you guys all know is hard for me. Like I'm a planner. I want a plan. I want an outline of how it's going to happen, but you can't necessarily always do that. But that's why it's important to find like your core values and what you want out of things. If you know your favorable outcome, you don't need to worry about the entire plan. As things come up, you can say, well, how am I going to handle this in a way that's going to take me closer to my favorable outcome?
Or even like, what's my highest self, my highest response to this situation, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key to telling you like, oh, I'm on my way to the favorable outcome. But it's like the feeling of the favorable outcome, not like I controlled those people and made them do what I wanted. I made that situation. You know what's really interesting about this is the thing that we really wanted to get onto about this was how when we kind of let go of the plan a little bit, we have just the guideline of the plan, how things develop better than we would have created them in our heads, because we get these beautiful, and they are beautiful expectations, these beautiful plans, but when they don't happen exactly the way that we pictured them, we a lot of times break down, start to doubt ourselves, and we lose that belief in what we were doing. And then the experience starts to feel back. You know what I mean? That balance of the experience, the solid belief, the passion we had, we start to feel it waver because of our own self-doubt. It's not the experience. It's not what we're putting out there, because we know people might not get it. We know it's not about them. It's about expressing ourselves and doing the things that make us feel good, better, happier. I don't know, just as we notice what we like, right? And how they turn out. Like, we all came here, we got here somehow from following those intuitive choices. So let's talk about that, because that was kind of the point. And then we got derailed in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
In several ways. It's not a big deal. I want to just say that, like, for me, I was going through like a healing experience. I was interested in cards. I was collecting them. And what happened for me was Nikki and I have known each other for like 12 years or something. I don't know. But she created something that was important to her. And I happened to see it. And I never really had worked with the moons before. I'll let her tell you what she'd made. But I'd never really worked with the moons before. And even though I didn't follow her method exactly, her guideline created a lot, like all of this for me, like the routine of my self-care rituals. I had never been that routine with anything in my life. Just full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon, that developed into feeling the energy flow in between the act, like more and more subtle energies that I started to feel. And then now, a year later, oh, happy anniversary, by the way. This is our year anniversary for Moonlit Magic.
Yay!
Yay, happy us. Happy us. But what happened was, like, so a year ago, I made my very first Moonlit Magic spread. How do we even start that name? I don't even know, but it was based on Nikki saying, "Oh, it's this moon, and this is what the moons do." And she just like gave me a couple little words. I'm like, that's interesting. And I started to base things around that. And then it's just like it kept developing from there. She and I connected, our friendship reconnected, and then we just started to talk more. And we started to talk more. And then it just kept kind of coming together where we both wanted to share in that energy. And that feels very different than chasing people around, trying to follow them around and keep them entertained. So, Nikki, I'm going to let you share your perspective of like that experience. Obviously, it's not very detailed. And then I want Megan and Kat to share like how they got here. You know, because you guys know us in different ways. I'd love you just to know, like, what were the intuitive decisions you made that maybe they're opportunities that you wouldn't have taken in the past or didn't, but the energy felt different this time. So, Nikki, you black box, your turn.
Okay. Can you guys hear me fine? Because like sometimes you guys are freezing on my end.
Right now, you're good.
So. All right. I would say like my intuitive choice, if that's what we're starting with, was to actually be vulnerable enough to put out the journal that I wrote. I had been journaling for years and I created a system for myself and I thought it was helpful for me and I thought it could be helpful for other people, but it's really scary to put something that you made out there, but I did it. And then Elise was one of the people to jump on to try it out, which was the Moonlit Living Journal. The Moon Journal. And I mean, there's not much more to add to what you've already said. It was kind of like that inspired you in a way, which inspired me even more. Like, oh, I did something good, you know, like wanting that outside validation almost, even though I knew myself that it was good. But then the things that you were creating from being inspired by what I had created inspired me more. And then it just became like this back and forth, like almost snowballed, just each of us adding on. And for me, that was really awesome because I think I really needed a friendship that had more value than just like the small talk of, you know, getting together with people that are my friends. And I'm not saying I don't value those friendships either, but they're definitely a different type of friendship. Like I like being allowed to be who I am, even in the times when I don't really know who I am yet. You know, like there are certain areas where I'm still figuring myself out. You're still figuring yourself out. We allow each other to do that. And
that was going to be, actually, that was what I was going to say earlier, was what we discovered. It took us a while because we kind of, not that we don't, we butt heads, we do like anybody,
Yeah.
like sisters almost, but like it's like, because we don't always communicate the same, but usually we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of let each other be moody and neat, you know what I mean? Just, and like Nikki wasn't bothered that I didn't follow her journal the exact same way. And I wasn't bothered that Nikki wasn't like following my readings. Like, it was like, well, your method of caring for yourself or your routine, your ritual, what you feel called to is a little different than mine. I feel called to move things around. If you ever notice, like for me, I am physically moving stuff. Like that's why I have like, you know, the way that things are set up for me, because me taking objects and physically moving them around with my body and my hands is what's powerful for me. Not that I don't write, of course I do, but Nikki has this other routine. And the fact that we didn't get caught up in, you're not following mine, you're not doing things my way. And that was I think the difference, letting people be who they are and have their needs.
Yeah. And what's amazing is what came out of that, I think, is like I was saying, like really inspiring each other. Like you'll say things or like you'll show me things that you're working on and I'll be like, wow, what about this? Or you'll say that to me. And then we're able to just like make these like massive changes in what we're doing to make things like even better than what we had already come up with on our own.
And it just keeps like fueling and building. Like, what are we doing here? Honest, I'm not to be rude, but like, what are we doing here? Like, it's just, I'm like, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel and I'm not trying to be rude, but like, I didn't vibe with most like oracle and tarot readers. It's more like the way people interpret things and stuff. I just needed a different level of depth with my readings. And it's kind of a journal for me to record it and to share it. And then I can look back on it. But then also that's out there for other people. So it's like a version of what Nikki does, but my version, like her, she physically writes and I move things because those are our methods, but we still follow the same energy and we still come together and collaborate on that.
Yeah. And I really hope that like as other people find what each of us do, I hope they become inspired to do their own thing too and say like, hey, you did this and I don't necessarily do the card readings, but I watch your video to get an idea, or I don't write in my journal every time, but your journal prompts help me create what I do for me, you know? And if there are people like that, I want to know what they're doing. I would love to hear what they have created.
Yeah. And so that's a perfect point. Let's talk, like, Kat, what led you here? I'm not even gonna like introduce like where you know anybody from, just you talk. How did you get here?
It was kind of on a lark. I kind of blamed that little mini portrait of you. So I got a set of watercolors for Christmas, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of yellow in this palette. I want to use find a picture with some yellow, because it's not a color I work with a lot. I mean, things have yellow accents, or maybe even like gold or brass or something like that, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So I'm like skimming around. I happen to still be on YouTube, and there's a little picture of Elise sitting there. So I was like, you know what? She's wearing a yellow shirt. I'm going to paint Elise. And after that,
before. No one's ever done it. Never been painted.
So I have this cute little picture of Elise. She's about 2x3, and it was a good way to go ahead and get familiar with that palette, and it was a fun, quick portrait to do. And then, having known Nikki, she of course shows it to you, and you two are talking about like, hey, let's get Kat on the live stream. I'm just like, well, I really need to get over this thing about like being on video, because I'm very much so a like behind the curtain person. Like literally, I've done like a performing arts class. It's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and write the script. I can help you with lighting. I can help you with costumes, props, everything else, but memorizing lines and being in front of people, no.
That was my favorite part. It was the only part I did. I'm like, get out of my way. Where's the stage?
I'll do everything else in the background. I'll paint your sets for you. I'll arrange stuff, but don't put me on stage. And I'll blame, what was it? I forget if it was first or third grade. It was really early on in school, but I remember it was an odd number. And that was the year like Jingle Bells, Batman Smells came out. I'm sitting there trying to play the xylophone on stage, and I'm just like totally thrown off by the entire audience singing it that way. I'm like just froze in terror. So it's like that was basically the last time I did anything where people really see me for a long time. So now I'm just kind of working on breaking through some of that and getting a little less camera shy, I guess. I still feel weird, like people watching me. It's like, no, I'd rather be like kind of in the background. But that really doesn't work when you're trying to make a business. Like people will see you. You have to get over this. And I want my art to be something that's actually sustainable and get comfortable with like marketing and being present. So here I am. I'm terrified.
Well, and you weren't just like, you didn't just show up one day and paint my face on YouTube. Like you've been interacting and hanging out with us.
Yeah, I've been in the group for a few months now.
And you have been kind of giving yourself space for what's important to you, like your creative career, your creative hobbies and stuff like that, because that didn't have as much room in your life before, right? And then now you're contributing to Nikki's upcoming launch of her subscription box or membership box or whatever, right, Nikki?
Yep. If it's okay, I haven't shown a picture to Nikki yet, but I was just tooling around. No, it's not done. It's rough. It's very rough. It's just ideas, and I figured, well, we can't see you, and maybe you can see on the screen. Do you see
I can
us?
see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's come on. Hold on, I'm not a drummer. Can you guys?
You are. Remember Halloween?
Oh yeah, I am a drummer. Where's my drumsticks? I'm not prepared. I am a drummer. I forgot.
You are a drummer.
I'm not. I don't have the rhythm of a drummer. We're ready, Kat. I'm ready.
All right. Working on stuff. Hold on a second.
Well, while she's getting it ready, I do want to say I am going to put the pre-sale up on the 22nd. So 2/22/22, I'll put the pre-sale up, and there's only going to be 10 available to start with. So keep an eye out for that in the group, because I'll put a coupon code for anyone in the group to use.
And we'll put links to that in the down below too when they're ready. Everything that we need, anything that we talk about here, and anybody's socials, and then also Nikki's box. We'll put everything down in the description.
Little swatches for color.
Oh, those are great colors.
These are super pretty. I like those colors a lot.
So yeah, I'm still tooling with the colors a little bit because it is spring, and I'm like, well, if I go a little too warm with the coral, it's going to look very summery. So
right,
careful
and
balance.
we need summery for summer.
Yes. So they are some very impactful colors, which is nice. That's one of the things I look forward to with springtime is like the return of like lots of color in life.
Yes.
Oh man, me too. Right now, like I'm starting to feel the days. Are you guys feeling like the brightness of the days getting longer? Because I don't know if I would have survived this week. I'm starting to like put more energy back into my life. Like I left my house. Can you imagine? Horrible. But it was for, like,
happen once in a while.
Like, for good stuff. Like it was good. It was good energy. But I'm like, whoa, because I haven't left my house. I mean, wanted to leave my house for fun stuff in a while. The winter can be harsh and really take it out of you. So I think this is another really cool point about being around people, and not isolating ourselves, because it is so easy. It's so easy to shift from that healthy detached place to like isolation, exhausted place. And there's a fine line, So, Megan, your turn. I want to talk a little bit just about what, I don't know, what the last year, I guess. Like, how did you're on the, well, okay. Megan is actually one of our Moonlit Magic team members that joined us. I don't know when did I
Officially
force you to join our team?
in the fall, I think. In the fall. Just before, I don't, maybe it was in October, like September, October. But
Oh yeah, I think so.
yeah, probably about a year ago, I had just like one life change after another. I switched jobs, I moved, I was dealing with all of these things, and I just felt incredibly overwhelmed. And Elise and I went to high school together. We were friends on Facebook, and I saw her posting these links to her YouTube, and I was like, I'll check that out. And her videos ended up being so calming for me, like listening to like her voice and the way she talked about things. And so it was very subtle how I kind of got drawn into things. And I actually thought about this the other day. I was like, the one thing that I was like, all right, need to get into this and like be more involved. I had always been really overwhelmed by the idea of like meditating, and it felt so like there were rules. It felt like there were rules to me. And I think Elise did a video that was like, you can meditate, any way you want, and it can be short as you want, and you can do it this way and that way. And I was like, and it's like it clicked that there wasn't like one right way to do things. And so that kind of is, I guess, what brought me in, just subtly over time. And it just became this thing that was like very calming and helped me like kind of ground myself again in like a new area, and like I guess probably like a new season of my life, and that's kind of how I ended up here.
Yeah, well, and so you reached out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was it that like
I don't even really know how to explain it. Like I thought about it all week when we talked about how we were going to do this live, and I'm like, what was that? And it's just it was just a feeling that I needed to do it. I don't know. I can't express that.
She followed her intuition.
Yeah, that's really all it was I felt like I had to.
Well, and that's like the whole, because we're talking about like we each map out our lives like in some sort of way. Maybe we don't write it down. Some of us do. We might have a planner and calendar or like literally a 10-year plan. Some of us just don't do any of that and just by the seat of our pants. But it doesn't matter like how the guideline's great. The vision and the ideas are great. But if we try too hard to make them into something before we're ready, before they're ready, before we have the right energy to do it, what it feels like to me is it's just a lot harder. And it's a lot, even if the actual journey is a perilous one. But like where it takes a lot of energy. It might actually take a lot of energy to do this stuff, but it's going to take that energy anyway. Do you want to drudge through with your head down, alone, bitter, angry, and wonder why life hands you a pile of shit every morning when you wake up? Or do you want to say, hey, nobody's going to fix this for me. Life is this. It was this. This is what happened. What can I do to feel a little bit better? What can I do to feel a little bit better? And it literally is anything that feels right to you. Mm-hmm. But then the really important point is we're trying to not just soothe. We're trying to soothe long-term to make things soften. So we can self-soothe right now, but also we have to realize that everything we do has an outcome. And if we have been self-soothing in a way that we realize does not turn out well, we should kind of, not beat ourselves up for the things that we've done before. Or if we do it again, don't beat ourselves up about it. Just be aware. Wow, I don't like how this feels. For me, I don't like to drink anymore. It's not a judgment on anybody else who likes to do what they like to do. It doesn't feel good to me anymore. Literally, it wasn't even an addiction. And it's not any judgment any which way you fall on this subject, I just didn't like how it made me feel. I could pinpoint exactly how much alcohol would make me feel what way, how I would lose control of myself, and how that made me feel. And it was not my highest version of myself. Doesn't mean I'm afraid of alcohol. It just means I don't desire it. So I don't do it. I don't let people push me into it, even if I'm in the environment where there's a lot of alcohol. But there was a different point in my life when I literally was like, not drink. That's ridiculous. Not for any reason. I could never imagine not drinking every day, every weekend, whatever. So it's just like we grow, we change, and we have to realize like the momentum of ourselves and how we fit into our external circumstances. Do we just go along with what other people want for us? Or are we playing with our experiences and deciding what we like? If we like to go out drinking, then go out drinking. If you like how that's turning out for you, then continue to do it. If you don't, your choices are your choices. No one lives the consequences of those but you, or reaps the benefits of those really but you. But if you do take care of yourself, the people who are close to you will experience that just as they'll experience if you don't. If you're angry, bitter, you will project that on everybody around you as well. Right? Right, guys? Right. Like I haven't just like zoned out for 45 minutes and just talked to myself.
You haven't been talking that long.
I wanted to share a couple things really quickly, and then we'll finish with the meditation thing that I wanted to do. So I wanted to say really quick that this is like an exciting new thing. A year ago, we started the Moonlit readings that Megan was just talking about. And for 2022 and starting actually, like, when is it? It's going to be in like a week or two for the new moon in Pisces, which is the next moon that's coming. Hold on. I have this somewhere. I have my cards somewhere about what I wanted to talk about. I lost them. They're lost. Sorry.
Are they behind you?
Or they might be. They're somewhere.
Are they in your little treasure box thing?
They're not in my treasure box. I literally had them and they're hiding now. Whatever. Okay, no, I found them. They're on my phone. My phone's bigger now. I have a new phone. It's bigger. It's the same size as my card. The new moon in Pisces. So what's happening is there's a brand new spread. I'm going to screen share for a second just to show it to you. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's it. This is it. So where am I? Where are we? Okay, so this is the brand new spread that I just designed for the upcoming year, I guess, 2022, starting with the upcoming new moon in Pisces, because this is a year of Moonlit Magic. So that's why this is the milestone. So our new spread is a little bit different, and it's a phoenix, if you can't tell. But the way that this is going to be layered is a little different. There's going to be one spread every month. And starting down at the bottom, it's going to begin with the new moon in Pisces. And then the rest of the spread will be revealed. But then every major phase of the moon, there's going to be another layer. So the next layer is going to be the first quarter moon in that sign, and the appropriate sign for that month, because this is going to change every month based on the moon energy, of course. Then it's going to be the full moon in Virgo, and we're going to have a layer for that. And then finally, the last quarter moon. So what we do with it is in 4 different sections. You can watch the whole thing and kind of see how to work with the energy over the course of the month. But also, as you're feeling it, come back and sit down with it, lay your cards out, or sit down and journal and write down what you're experiencing. And that way it makes more sense as you're walking through it, because we forget and we get caught in our heads. You guys know, we get stuck in our heads and we forget the direction we were going when we start to doubt ourselves a little bit. So
Yeah.
that is brand new, and it's coming out for the new moon in Pisces. And that's like, what is, I keep looking like there's a calendar behind me or something. Like there's not. In my bedroom, there's a calendar on every wall. The new moon in Pisces is, what's the date? Thank you, Kat. It is March 1st. That's what I'm trying to like square in my head. So it's upcoming the next couple of days that this new spread is going to come out. It's going to come out before every new moon. And then we'll be here live every full moon. And those are the ways that you can connect with us best, as well as in the group where we share everything and we talk. More than our Facebook page or any of our other platforms, that's what we talk about, because that's where we're connecting the most at the moment, is on Facebook. So I just wanted to share that because that's brand new and upcoming. The theme that we're feeling right now, and we're going to see, I want you guys to check me on this when it comes out. The theme that we're going with right now is deep for this upcoming month is deep self-love. And for the full moon, I'm talking about forgiving our bodies. I don't know. So I want to see if this is how it plays out. We have like water energy and earth energy that we're working with this month. So am I pressing? Why do I keep saying pressing? Am I pointing to the right ones? We have water here with Pisces, and this is like a deep, not deep dive. It's like sinking down below the surface, and like imagine Atlantis at the bottom of the ocean. Like what fantasy world is deep down in the dark, right? What do you imagine is down there? Because that is what we are actually bringing to life. Okay. That's why it's important to know what's inside of us and what we believe about ourselves. And then for me, Virgo is this like healthy body energy. But it's also a very, very critical energy because it's ruled by Mercury in the mind. So the heightened part of next month is going to be very much about how critical we are of ourselves, but I want to anchor that into our bodies. So we'll see when you go watch the new spread, we'll see if it plays out the way that I predict. But that's the energy that I'm feeling for next month anyway, too. We're getting to the point where we're going to do our oracle readings. It might just be us, and I don't mind if it is, because it's been a really interesting day. That wasn't, I wanted to do our meditation though. I wanted to do our meditation because last month when we came off of this energy, okay, this let your fears dissolve, we had our oracle reading, our oracle cards for humanity readings, which are, remember, they're silly, they're sweet and silly, but this was my card last month. And I had to sit with a lot of this. Megan went and she felt drawn to do a reading in our group. Just do it. Just pull cards for people. And that amplified this for me quite a bit. And then it amplified even more because I was leaning into it. And it was saying not just that you are enough, you are everything. We create everything. Okay. So from in here, it's not measuring up to out there. Whatever we believe about ourselves is what we're going to create. It's the feeling that we're going to create, not that we control people or circumstances, but what we feel when we experience it, when we respond to it, comes from what we believe about ourselves. So to let our fears dissolve, I also had this come up, love and fear. That love and fear cannot exist in the same place at the same time. So that's a really important thing to note when we're letting our fears dissolve. What do we need to fill that space in with? It's not empty. What belongs there and what were we born with? What is us? Think of an actual child, you as an actual child or your actual child, and what that experience is and how you would talk to that child, how you would nurture that child when they're upset, rather than how critical we are of ourselves. And what I did with that was made a meditation. That's what I did. That's how I channel my energy, is I generally like have these feelings, and I made a meditation with it just off of that. I had this come up, which is a super plentiful, abundant energy. And it created the meditation that I made. And it's something, what did I call it? Unlocking, what did I call it? Unlocking your body or something. Like unlocking the powers of your body or something like that. But that's what creativity is. Whatever feels right to you, channel what you're feeling into that and then express it confidently. It does make an impact on other people. And if you doubt that, you have no idea how many people are missing out on what you have to share. Right? Right? I don't know why I keep saying it like that. Right? Right, guys? So let's do a little meditation and let's do our oracle cards. Yeah?
Also, Kat can do the wheel. I can't do it, but she can.
Can are you able to screen share, Kat?
I can. I'm just getting the numbers set and fiddling with that. And it seems to like greens and yellows, which not my color choice, but we can do it.
You want to do it right now?
Do you want to do it before the readings or after the readings?
Let's do it. Let's do it before.
Okay.
But do you want to do it before or after the meditation part? What do you think, Kat? I'll let you decide.
I would flip a coin, but I have no coins right here.
Okay.
Go ahead and do the meditation part, and then we'll go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to do this at the beginning anyway. So let's just center. This is kind of like a preview, but just I want us to just center ourselves, calm down, slow down a little bit. Another thing that I created, or I am creating right now with the energy that I'm feeling, is a workshop, and it has to do with all of this. So we've all heard of our inner child and ego. We've talked about it a little bit. Inner child and ego are the same thing. They just are. It's like a development of our character or of ourselves over a lifetime. So that's what it is. It's the child growing up, the emotional maturity of that child. And when we really consider it, when we don't get what we want, what we feel inside of us is much like a tantrum. And that's exactly what it is. But as I mentioned before, it's not a monster inside. It's a scared little kid that had a misunderstanding at some point, trying their best to feel safe. And it's just a matter of, imagine a child. We have poor emotional awareness. We don't have great communication skills. And what we do when we feel upset or scared is scream out. A baby cries out because they have no other way of communicating. So when we're in a lower, not lower, but a younger or less mature mindset, that's just how we react. We react to the response that it's like a trigger, but it doesn't have to be that loud. It doesn't have to be something that we're in therapy for. It might not be so obvious. So that is just what's inside of us, this inner child screaming out for rescue or trying to feel necessary enough to be loved. And we build our whole lives upon that. We reach out to into relationships or for attention that validates that experience when we're not aware of it. So noticing when we feel heavy, tight, exhausted, anything that drains us almost, or literally feeling, what it feels like to be weighted in some way, that we're not in flow with ourselves. And when we are doubting, we react by trying to strategize, but from a stressed place, from a pressureful place. So we overcomplicate everything and we try to make it work out exactly like we want. And what do we do with it? We plan, we restrict, we control, and we manipulate the situation. Even though manipulate's a harsh word, we do. Well, like a child, we emotionally manipulate or try to. That doesn't mean don't take actions or navigate the situation. But how do we feel? If we start to do that from a stressed place, it's probably not actually what we want long term. So we work harder or we work harder than we need to when we don't kind of slow down and soften that busyness of our minds to clear the confusion. So what we're going to do together right now is just start by dropping your shoulders. Okay. I just want you to like relax into it. So like, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but where you kind of scrunch your shoulders up and then just let them drop down a couple times. And then I want you to take your hands and rub them together. And when you're thinking about this, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but it's like creating warmth between your hands. So you're supposed to be doing this, FYI, Megan.
I was doing it. My hands are just low.
Sorry.
I liked it because they're cold.
Well, what we're doing is just kind of creating that warmth between like our palms right now. And as we're doing this, I want you to like choose an intention. And what do you want to connect to? Do you want to connect to your inner knowing, your intuition, and your higher self? Or would you like to connect to overthinking, anxiety, and stress? Right now, just take your hands and put them wherever you feel called on your body, whether that's your heart and your gut, your throat, and just sit with it. Usually it's like, what part of your body is kind of feeling agitated, restricted, tight? Where I normally notice is I'll feel it in my gut and it feels like a knot. And that's when I notice like my energy isn't aligned where it needs to be. And I try not to make decisions at that point. So that energy in your hands, it's this link between your heart and your spirit almost. Like this, our hands are what take what we feel and we make things with it. So that's why it's so important to do something creative. As you sit though with your body, I want you just to note any discomfort, any tightness, no matter how subtle it might be. Do you guys notice anything at all that feels uncomfortable at all in any way? Tight, like shaky, anything at all?
My knees.
Oh, knees. Mine kind of feels like I've got like a rubber band like around my shoulders.
I like that. That's good. That's good. That's important. That's important. What does it feel like? Like when you address that, I mean, what is it about? What does it feel like it's about?
Probably like self-restricting.
Why?
Because I get in my head.
Why?
Goes back to being a child. For me.
For all of us.
Yeah.
What is it that right now, or what is it that wants right now from you? Like, what does that child want?
Probably just to be more relaxed and more go with the flow and stop trying to follow some sort of plan that I'm not prepared to have or haven't thought through, just be more in the moment with things.
Why do you choose to let that child make a choice for you? Now, here we are right now, and we know that that's a very immature response, not a judgment. And I'm just asking, don't sit here and think like I have to answer this. I want you just to sit with it. Why do we choose to let the impulse, the tantrum, or the discomfort make the choice, the next choice, and the next choice, and the next choice? Do you know why? Does it feel like maybe easier, than having to deal with it? Remember you mentioned avoidance earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably just the easy way out. what I've been used to doing for a long time. I think what we're all kind of used to doing.
Does it feel like it softens at all just to to sit with it and like imagine your hands kind of like a hug? Does it feel any different just to sit with yourself and not try to do anything with it, but just to be with it?
Yeah, I think that awareness helps. Like just thinking about it and being present in the moment and knowing that it's okay to feel that way.
When you follow it like all the way in, I think what we have to note, or at this moment, each time, consider that, like where you feel the discomfort, where physically, like it doesn't matter where, it could be your ankle, be with that just for a moment and let it tell you something, because it will. It might tell you need to sit down. Your body might say, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. But can we note why, if our body says we're hungry, that we don't feed it? Or can we note why, when our body says we're thirsty, we choose to abuse it with, coffee or alcohol? I do that. Like I don't necessarily hydrate myself, even when my body's calling out for that. It's noticing each sensation and then starting to play with why. Why would I do that? Why would I do that when I know better? I know different. Why am I like, there's levels of self-punishment in there too, like different things that we believe about ourselves. We punish the child. I know we're getting into the child quite a bit, but we punish it. We guilt it, shame it, lock it away, rather than just sit with it. And I think it's really, that's the note, is this is enough. We don't have to sit for hours in quiet. It's great to do that. The deeper and deeper you get attuned with yourself, I think the more and more more space you need with yourself. But it doesn't have to be like this carved out. Sometimes it's just presence. It's just reminding yourself to come back, be here, slow down. How is the world gonna stop if I slow down for 30 seconds and I be with myself when I'm rushed, when I'm angry? How is it bad to lean into those emotions in a safe way when I need to? Why not, when I feel complete rage, to go find a pillow to scream into, or scream in my car, or punch the shit out of something, like something inanimate that's not going to be destroyed? Why not, when it's there, release it, let the child have the tantrum, but not spew it on everybody else? Because isn't that the difference? Projecting it out on people that we love or the situations that we care about, it ends up doing damage. Versus when we sit with it, give it space, we can still have those feelings. We can fully process them. And then we bring a different version of ourselves into the world, because we gave ourselves that much space and we have nothing to be embarrassed about. It's embarrassing to go out and act like that in public, isn't it? I did that a lot. a lot. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done. I do want to say that in the summer, I did, it was in Leo season at Lionsgate, actually, which is really important because this is a Leo full moon. Hold on just a second. This is the last thing I wanted to do. That we did a whole workshop on this in the summer, about how to just kind of like get into our bodies and be there with ourselves. And it was just like a mini thing with a whole journal. But this might be the time, like after sitting with it for this many months, my life has developed in all these different ways. This was something that I was called to do. I don't know if you participated in or not, but it has changed my life just to have created this thing, expressed it. And it doesn't matter, like this is something that I did, that I put out there when I was feeling the energy. So I just want you to realize like how important you are, how important your intuition is, and whatever you're creating is developing in just the right time. The connections that we have are either collaborating with us or clearing space for us to do something more fulfilling, more satisfying. Let's do the prize wheel. Let's do it.
All right. So I will share my screen. And it's just funny. The first thing I think of when sharing my screen is, yeah. I have a lot of tabs open. You're warned. my other half messes with me about it. It's like, funniness. All right. All right, and hopefully that's working. All right.
There's nothing on the screen.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna go with Chrome tab. Oh, awesome. It will let me actually just open right to just the tab, which is nice. I can remember which one it is. There it is. All right, and now we have these. I don't know. I would not have picked these colors if it was my choice.
I'm gonna put it up here. There it is.
Yep. All right, and I haven't played with this, so I apologize in advance.
I think you click
No,
the middle where it says
It
Blame
should just
Nikki.
be okay.
Blame
There we-
Nikki. She's the one who called you out and said you were going to do it.
Well, we said that we would do it. I'm like, should we just hold off for like another month, give more people a time to enter?
Number 3. Who's number
Oh, that
3?
was nice.
Yay, number 3. I don't know whose ticket got number 3, but yay, number 3. You did it. You win.
Yay!
Are we good? Nikki, are you good? Yes? Nikki, are you there? Nikki.
yes, I am.
Nikki.
Hold on, you're frozen.
I just want to make sure we recorded number 3. Congratulations, number 3.
Yes, we have number 3.
Perfect. Okay,
Yay.
so let's do our oracle cards this week or this month. Megan, so
Are you trying to do weeklies?
I used to, and that was a lot. Weeklies are a lot. So upcoming in the next month, Megan is going to be doing a giveaway. We don't really have all the details of that set yet, but we're going to discuss it this month in the group, and then we'll reveal how to enter this one in particular. Megan, I want you to pick right now a secret code word or a secret code phrase for your giveaway.
A secret code word. You didn't even put
Anything.
Breeze.
She's like putting you on the spot like crazy
She
today.
is. She is. I wasn't ready for this.
You guys are a
My
live
secret code word is gonna be breeze.
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 So that's
I love
the
it.
code word for next month when Megan chooses her winner for her giveaway. Breeze is the secret code. Should we say the other one again? Should we say it again?
Sure. That would give our number 3 winner another chance at finding it, just in case they didn't catch it last time. But that was Betty White in honor of her birthday last month.
Her birthday and
her legacy.
Yeah, her legacy. That's the word I was looking for. So Betty White is the secret code word for the prize. Number 3. That's your secret code word.
Okay, but clarify, that's the code word for this one.
For this one. So number 3 or whoever, if number 3 doesn't have the code word, then someone else is going to win. So yes. So Betty White.
As far as contacting the winner, are we listing just first name or are we messaging them?
I'll send
Do
them.
we want to just message them in the group? Okay.
Yeah.
Just like
Nikki's going to be in touch.
Should we give number 3 a name? Just a first.
Nikki knows. Nikki's the one who has been in touch already, so I think she probably already knows what's going on and who it is. So
Yay.
we will be in touch about that. And then for next month, Megan is going to be doing a self-care giveaway. Her code word is Breeze for the upcoming winner. That's going to be the code word that you have to reveal to actually claim your prize. This is what Kat created. And this is what you win. Number 3. I love number 3. That's my like. 3 is one of my favorite numbers. It's my life path as well.
Oh, yeah, and
So-
a truck full of treats. So much
Yeah.
that I couldn't fit in the mug, and I had to create a gift box.
There's
Like,
pictures.
there's not enough stuff. I need more stuff.
There's pictures, and Nikki printed her word of the year coloring book too, and she said it's amazing, but we don't get to see it. So hopefully she'll.
Yeah, sorry guys.
She's like, yeah, it's nice, guys. Trust me.
Tech issues.
That's part of the giveaway as well. So you won these markers that Kat had for you. That was the original giveaway. She made this really cool one-of-a-kind mug, a bunch of treats, and then Nikki has her word of the year coloring book that she physically printed out and is going to mail to you. And then next month, here they are. We will talk about what Megan's self-care giveaway. Everything's developing. That's kind of like where we're at. We're letting everything flow, develop, and helping hopefully other people kind of boost their intuition and creativity and stuff. So Megan, I asked Megan to bring a set of cards this week too, because she's never done that before, but we want to just kind of what is the word? Model or show you. We want to show you that it's all about intuition and the messages come together like that. Let's do Kat, then let's do Megan, and then let's do Nicole, because does that sound good? I know that we have 3 at least on deck. Nikki, are you good?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do Kat first. Is that okay?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. You're going to have to tell us what your cards say.
Yes. Okay. Maybe I should take pictures later. So I don't know if you can like add them somewhere.
I mean, can you type them out into the chat box, please?
Okay, so Kat's card is now this is the Oracle cards for humanity. So these are coming out of the Cards Against Humanity deck. It says, if at first you don't succeed, try.
Commitment.
Oh, okay.
I like that. I am committed to my growth and my dreams. I set routines and habits that help me evolve into my fullest potential. Even though I may not see the physical manifestation of my desires, I know that they have vibrationally manifested and are on their way to me.
All right.
I like that a lot.
And then this one is the moment. Oh, wait, here's the card. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me.
Well, that all goes very nicely together.
Mhm.
That was you, Kat. So you got Megan. Can you put yours back up for a second? What did yours say again, Nikki?
I'm doing some dance moves right now.
Oh, why can't I? There we go.
So if at first you don't succeed, try commitment. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. I think that is a great one.
Well, what I really like about this, though, because it says goals. Remember, we were talking about checklist and the goals, but it says very specifically that my desires have vibrationally manifested to me. So that has to do with this emotional set point, or like our thoughts, and not getting caught in the self-doubt. The commitment, the goal, is a different type of goal, and I really like that a lot. Perfect. All right, Megan's turn.
Megan's turn. All right. Megan's card says, CNN, breaking news. Scientists discover.
Not there yet.
Well, you better hurry up.
I'm trying. Come on. Come on. Waiting for something different. The subconscious mind. I just think these are cute.
You know,
I think they're cute based on what we're talking about. It says, I realize that subconscious beliefs or programs may be holding me back from my desires. For example, if I want money, I may have been told things growing up that that I have been subconsciously holding on to. So I go back to my past and release beliefs that no longer align, substituting them for ones that do.
All right. Pull a card for myself. Hope is a conduit for miracles.
I think that's really interesting because it's talking about going in, replacing, what does it say? Like these subconscious programs, the things that we've been holding on to growing up, replacing it with like a sense of hope or whatever that feels like. Maybe it's not the right word, maybe it is, but whatever that feels like to you. Like filling that space with hope and holding that open for whatever feels that way. That's good. Sorry, guys. Got a head itch. Okay, that was good. I like how these are coming together again. This is fun. Nicole's turn.
Okay. So she got, aw shit, blank in the house. So what's in the house?
The edge of greatness.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. The universe is opening doors for me, bringing opportunities my way. I don't crumble at the edge of my greatness. I take the opportunities that come and walk through the doors with confidence.
All right. And we've got my fearless freedom lights up the world.
Love that. I love that too. Because it's talking about confidence, fearless freedom, and I do not crumble at the edge of greatness. I really like that. Nicole was talking with Nikki, and I don't know, she's gonna get more involved with us. So we don't really know what direction we never know what direction that's gonna lead, do we, guys?
No, but it's always in a good one.
It is. It's always just it's fun to collaborate with energies that want to. That's the point, is to be with people and sharing energy with people who want to share energy, and that it's just so different to like the way it feels. Like I was talking about earlier with when Nikki and I came together, it just feels so different to just be yourself and then talk with people who want to be present with you in your life, who want to live life with you. And it's different for all of us in different ways, right? All of our relationships are different.
Oh, absolutely.
But to have collaborative and reciprocal energies that want to amplify and want to create things rather than be critical.
One of the things that I had actually said to Nicole kind of is, especially with people who want to be doing their best, you're who are trying to do their best right now, and their best might be better the next day. Their best might not be as good the following day, but people who genuinely want you to do your best and want to do the best themselves too.
What's even the measure? What good and not good? You know what?
Right.
Like I'm at the place where my energy is different every day, and it's not because necessarily I feel good and bad. It's I feel what is going on out there, and it's not people necessarily. I feel like the actual moon. I don't know if you guys feel it. I do. It actually rules my chart if we ever get into natal charts, but that is something that I never realized, that it pulls me so much. So it really is important to me, very important for me to create my own feelings. Actually, when I was just getting ready for this, I was listening to the song from Muse, Feeling Good. And I was like, I need to manifest a different energy for myself. I need to create it because it's my choice. Literally, like that's what I was listening to. Trust me or not, that's what I was listening to, because I'm like, I need it. I need to make this. Even if I'm feeling nervous, if I'm feeling low, disappointed about anything, how does it shift if I keep dragging myself down? I can feel it, process it, and then moving on is the only thing that we can do that feels good. Moving, not stagnating and getting stuck, because stuck that's the worst, is it not? Like
Oh yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the emotions. Getting stuck in them is what feels like shit. Getting stuck in bitterness, anger, whatever. Acknowledging it is perfectly natural. Realizing where we get stuck in like almost like a victim mentality too with those things. And what can we do to empower ourselves? What choice can I make? Because no one is going to come in and save me. All right. Now, you guys are welcome to leave if you want, but me and Nikki still got to do our cards. I was like, no one's hanging out at this point anyway, are they? Except us. Sorry, guys. We usually do a picture too at the end, and like, I don't think.
Well, I'm gonna have to like take a picture separate so you could edit it in so we can pretend.
Nice.
I can do that. All right, Nikki, let's do yours. We can
Okay,
move on.
mine says, "What's about to take this dance floor to the next level?"
You're gonna piss your pants in a second.
Okay. Doing our best. Shut up.
I'm sorry, was that damn floor or dance floor? I've been typing them.
Dance floor. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look at Kat. Always like,
See, that's what
Yeah.
Kat's awesome.
If you keep
Says-
doing that,
Okay.
We are doing our best with the understanding and awareness we have in this moment. Any decision I take is okay, no matter the outcome. I make the best of any situation and I learn as I go along.
All right.
No wink on that one.
And my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest.
Have you guys ever heard anything like that before?
I don't know where I heard that from.
It's the first time I've ever heard that concept. It's so weird. Isn't it so fun? I just love it so much. These are always so fun. They like, I don't understand. It really kind of, let's say it freaks me out, but like, look at how intense this is. Like, even with Meghan, your extra layer is
Yeah.
like spot on. And that's why this is so cool and fun. And that's why we do it.
Exactly.
My turn.
Okay, yours says, "I've got rhythm, I've got music, I've got blank. Who could ask for anything more?"
It says, there is magic and miracles all around me. Where others see coincidence, I see evidence of life's synchronicities. I love filling life with wonder and magic. It's way more fun that way.
All right. And yours is when I think I've surrendered, I surrender more.
That's a life lesson this week, man. Spot on. Wow. Whew, all right. I needed that. That was good. That's going to be good energy for the upcoming month. Thank you guys so much for being here. You're probably not still here if you're not us, but we are going to be talking about the new moon in Pisces and the full moon in Virgo this upcoming month. Our brand new reading that you can follow along, and it's going to be guiding you through the whole month. And then we will be here live next full moon for Self-Care Sunday. Hopefully you are here and joining us and getting your own messages. We are really appreciative of you. And don't forget your secret code words if you're watching this to get a giveaway. If you're watching this to claim a prize, you better be paying attention. All right. You girls don't leave, okay? Stay here.
Yep. And
Thank you so much.
it would be great. Sorry, not trying to cut you off. For everybody joining us for the replay, go ahead and comment replay. This helps the algorithms that exist out there to help get this content to more people. More engagement is good. If you want to help out, even if it's just a small way, say hi. We love it.
These are the things that we should say at the beginning, right? But like, I never shut up and never let anybody talk. So, do you guys want to say goodbye? Bye.
Bye.
Bye.